see someone's worst moment. We see our worst moment and we think there's all there is there. God doesn't see that. What if you, who has been labeled a chronic worrier, what if God's like, oh, but I can use that. If we can just get your worry focused on my faithfulness, all of a sudden, a professional worrier can become a professional worshiper. You who's an addict. I think God looks at that, his heart breaks, but he also sees you know how to be dependent on something. You know how to need something. You recognize that when you're not feeling good, you need to go somewhere to feel better. I just need you to come to me. The goodness and the mercy and the favor that never runs out. I just need you to come to me instead of the bottle. Hi, friends. Excuse me. Happy Thursday. I have my bachelorette this week and I'm excited. I'm so excited. I think honestly, have you ever been in the seasons where you're just like, I need a change of pace. I need to get out of my apartment. I need to get out of like my everyday life. I just need like change. I'm excited for my bachelorette for that reason. Not just that reason. All of my deepest, closest, most beautiful, amazing friends are going to be there. And that's so special. I think one of the reasons that's so special is because, and I can't remember if I've said this on the podcast before, but growing up, I've never had, and I can tie this to what we're talking about today. I've never had like a friend group. I guess in high school, you could say I had like a friend group, but even then, like I didn't have just one group of friends. Like I was always the kind of person that was friends with like a lot of different groups of people, and I loved them all dearly the same, but like, you know what I mean? And then in college got more to the point where I was very much, when I quit the tennis team after my junior year and went into my senior year of college, I no longer had like a friend group, if that makes sense. Like I no longer had like a group of friends that I was like, okay, this is my group. I had all these individual relationships and friendships, and I adored all of them, but they all had their own group. And so I remember like sometimes it was lonely because, especially at college on the same campus, like on Friday night, I had all these deep individual friendships with people, but I was like, I always looked at myself as kind of I'm the dinner girl, you know, like people wanted to be friends with me and have like good one-on-one dinner conversation, but I was never like the going out friend or like the person you call on a Friday night to go party or anything. So on Friday nights and Saturday nights, my senior year, that was a hard time for me because I remember I just was like, hello, like I didn't, and that was also my fault because I didn't like invite myself to anything, you know, I wasn't like, hey, can I come with y'all? Instead, it was just everybody had their own group to go out and do stuff with. And I was just, yeah. So I say that because I'm still kind of that way. I have so many good individual friendships with a lot of just awesome girls. Like some of them I've met through tech sales, some of them I've met through church, some of them I met through isogenics, some of them I met through like just being in my family, like family friends for forever. But none of them know each other, you know? How awesome is that? Like none of them know each other. It's not like this friend group that it's like this group of girls and we're all in the same friend group and we all know each other. It's like none of them know each other. So there's not one person coming to my bachelorette that like is like really good friends with another one of the girls. And as I was reflecting on that, I was like, that's actually kind of cool because it's such, I feel like a depiction of how God has blessed me with so many beautiful friendships and people in my life over the years. And he's really provided in that way. And God is such a provider. And I think so often we like, even that season in college or whatever have you, it's like, it's so easy to be like, man, something's wrong with me, or man, something is wrong with this season because it doesn't look like the way it looks like for everybody else. But really that's what God's using as a foundation to like bless you in the way he designed you. And today we are, again, obsessed with the book of Jonah. It's what I'm I don't really know yet what exactly I'm going to be preaching on out of the book of Jonah in October, but I do know that God's brought me to the book of Jonah. And one thing that has really kind of struck my heart with this book of Jonah, it literally comes from the very first sentence. Well, I guess first and second sentence. Jonah 1, verses 1 through 3. It says, the Lord's message came to Jonah, son of Amittai. I'm not sure. But basically, God says to Jonah, go immediately to Nineveh, that large capital city, and announce a judgment against its people because their wickedness has come to my attention. Instead, Jonah immediately headed off to Tarshish to escape the commission of the Lord. Why did that speak to me so much? I'm going to read it again and extra emphasize the parts that really spoke to me. Jonah 1, verse 2. God said to Jonah, go immediately to Nineveh. Verse 3. Instead, Jonah immediately headed off to Tarshish to escape what God was saying to do. Why this spoke to me so much is because it just reminded me that God doesn't see things the way that we see things as humans. When you read this verse, what is Jonah famous for? He's famous for being in the belly of a whale. But why was he in the belly of a whale? It's because he was running from God. We see someone running from God. We see someone at their worst moment. We see someone for their worst thing that they did. But God, I don't think God sees it that way. And the reason is because of that word immediately. Remember, God's perspective is outside of space and time. Like, God is so big and so massive and so enormous. He is literally outside of space and outside of time. So knowing that, when we see someone immediately run away from the Lord, what does God see? I don't think that's the only thing he sees. Because if it was the only thing he saw, I don't think he would continue to go after Jonah and continue to say, no, but you are the person for this. Yep, no, I'm going to keep calling you. I'm going to call you towards the thing that you don't want to do so badly. Even the way Jonah ends, it wasn't like Jonah wore like a I love the Ninevites shirt all of a sudden. It was like he was still angry. The chapter ends and Jonah was still angry, but God was still good. So what does God see in Jonah? Like, have you ever asked that question? Have you ever read the book of Jonah? You should. It's like 2 pages, literally 2 pages of a story. Have you ever read the book of Jonah and thought to yourself, why? Like, what does God see in Jonah? I've thought that. I thought that when I first read Jonah. Go immediately to Nineveh, to the large capital city, and announce judgment against its people because their wickedness has come to my attention. Instead, Jonah immediately headed off to Tarshish. You know, I think the Lord saw someone who knows how to be prompt. While we're over here seeing all we see in Jonah as someone who's fleeing from God, I think God's like, hey, but he still went immediately somewhere. I can use that. He knows how to be prompt. He knows how to move. He knows how to go quickly. He knows how to make a ruckus. I think God, when we think about our life and we think about the way we label ourselves, when we think about the way we label other people, we label an injury as I can never work out that way again. We label physical pain as my body is doing this certain thing that the doctor said I'd never be able to do this again or that again. We label experiences as good or bad or useful or not useful. We label people as I want to work for them. I don't. As I want to be their friend, as I don't. As what they said about me is true or it's not. We label people based on their addictions, based off of their tendencies, based off of their habits, based off of typically their worst habits and their worst tendencies and their worst addictions. We label someone as a drug addict. We label someone as homeless. We label someone as divorced. We label someone as a cheater. We label someone as their worst moment. Have y'all seen that The Coldplay thing? Probably. You know how that like CEO and that, and I am not approving of what they did whatsoever. I am saying though, I think the way that we put our insecurity and our worst moment on the big screen is very similar to how their worst moment was shown on the big screen. And I am not condoning it. I am not saying that it was right. I am not saying any of these things. What I am saying is that we see someone's worst moment. We see our worst moment and we think there's all there is there. God doesn't see that. God typically sees things that we see past. We see Jonah running from God. And that's what we label him as a fleer, as a runner, as someone who is avoiding God. I think God's like, but whoa, bro took off immediately. I asked him to go immediately to Nineveh. He went immediately, but not to Nineveh. What if I could just get his heart set on the right place? He has the infrastructure. We just got to get it moving and grooving in the right direction. What if you who's been labeled a chronic worrier, or you who's been labeled an OCD compulsive freaker outer, what if God's like, oh, but I can use that. If we can just get your worry focused on me, that attention that you use to put into worst case scenario, if we can just flip the script and get you thinking about me constantly and my goodness and my mercy and my favor and my faithfulness, all of a sudden a professional worrier can become a professional worshiper. You who's a drug addict, who's addicted to alcohol, who's an alcoholic. I think God looks at that, his heart breaks, but he also sees you know how to be dependent on something. You know how to need something. You recognize that when you're not feeling good, you need to go somewhere to feel better. I just need you to come to me, the fount that never runs dry, the living water, the goodness and the mercy and the favor that never runs out. I just need you to come to me instead of the bottle. Me instead of your pantry. Me instead of gossiping about people or the job you don't like. I just need you to know where to go. But the infrastructure is there. I don't know why there's fireworks going on. My computer loves AI. Y'all, what if we looked at people like that? Like, Lord, give us the eyes to see how you see. What if it's bigger than just someone who's running away from the Lord? What if the Lord's like, I like the fact that he left somewhere immediately. I can use that. For you, that thing, that addiction that you don't know how to stop, that fear that you don't know how to stop feeding, your brain circuitry, it's the same fears, the same worries, the same over and over and over again, and you don't know how to stop it. What if God's like, you could be like a literal professional worshiper if you just started thinking about my goodness over and over and over again, and my mercy over and over and over again, and my faithfulness, even if your worst fears happen over and over and over again, and how I'm never going to leave you stranded. I'm never going to leave you alone. I will never forsake or leave you over and over and over. Instead of feeding the worst case scenario over and over and over, feed the best case. No matter what, I've got my God truth over and over and over. See, how we see things and how we judge things and how we grade things and how we belittle things and how we fall short of things or how we meet the mark on things. It's all based of our human eye. But what if we ask God to give us a spirit of discernment that goes past all of that, that goes past what we limit ourselves to or what we limit other people to? There's someone I love so dearly. They don't know God. I don't know if they want to either. And it breaks my heart. But what I know to be true is that God doesn't see them or their situation the way I do. And the journey that they're on and the way God is going to meet them, it's so different than anything that I could figure out on my own for this person. I see defiance and them reaching for the wrong things and pain and isolation. God sees something on the inside that I can't. And that's what I have faith in. The God that when we see a man fleeing from God, he sees a man that knows how to be prompt, a man worth chasing after. Don't limit what you see about yourself or your situation or someone else's situation or someone else to your first gut reaction of them. It's better than that. It's deeper than that. You know, I'm going to close this out with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever.